up, you guys? Rasati out here in Singapore, and I have a special guest on here with me once again.
Kutti G.
Kutti G is with me today because we've been having a lot of conversations. School's back in session, right? So now we're getting back into, okay, why does this have to happen? Why do I need to do this? I hate this. I don't like that. All these things. So we're back to having these discussions about, how to manage some of these stressful situations that you don't quite like. And instead of saying I'm stressed, I would rather you have some kind of tool or some kind of process that you go through so you can actually understand what it actually means. So tonight, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the fact that baby girl is going through the situation where she's comfortable where she is. And even though she dreams of being better and like maybe a leader in the classroom, she kind of doesn't want to do the work to get there. And that's like a lot of us as adults too. I want to be this fantastic entrepreneur. I want to be this, cutting edge designer. I want to be the next top model, blah, blah, blah. But how many of you are actually, what is that word I'm looking for? Dedicated to the process and are committed to doing whatever it takes to get to where you want to be. It's not just one of those, water cooler things where, oh yeah, one day I'm going to do this. You're actually doing something about it. So I'm going to do the primary school edition of this, right? So baby girl right now, this morning, she had her swim safe class. She's been in swimming classes once a week for the last year anyway. But for some reason, when she got into the swim class this morning, she was assigned to the very, very beginner group. Now she was thrilled because guess what? She can do pretty well. She can breathe. She can kick. She still needs a kickboard at the moment because she can't swim quite yet. She's getting there. But the first group, the baby group. Group number 1 is actually the simplest of all the skill sets. Group 11 are the ones who have certificates saying that they can actually swim. They don't touch the bottom of the pool at all. They can swim from one end to the other of the width of the pool. Not the length, but the width of the pool. So, baby girl was thrilled. She was all smiles. She was very, very happy to help out the other kids who were scared of putting their face in the water, scared of, floating, scared of doing kicks and stuff. And of course, she got attached to the teacher because she's the best in her group. So she became teacher's assistant. Great. I'm happy. The first day of swim class, I'm happy. I happened to be there because I was volunteering. But here's the next thing that I need her to consider. Right now, you're the best of the group. But in order for you to learn new skills and to become even better than you are, to graduate to the next group, you kind of need some competition. So we started talking. What does that mean? What does competition mean? She says, I don't like competition. I was like, are you sure? Because I've seen her play catch in the playground, and I know she is all smiles, ear to ear smiles, when nobody can catch her. And look, baby girl got some wheels on her. She's kind of fast. I mean, I was kind of fast, so she's kind of fast, right? But the point being that if you don't have, every once in a while, somebody who is just as fast, if not faster than you are, how will you go to push your limits to become better than you are at the moment? This is why it's like a graduated scale when you go through first grade all the way up to 12th grade, right? Next year, it's more difficult. The year after that, it's more difficult. There's exams, there's new subjects, all kinds of stuff. There's always pushing you to be better. Now, without competition, how do you push yourself? Let's think about this. They talk about, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Same thing in a classroom. There's going to be, bound to be, people that are smarter than you, not so smart in different areas, right? That need a little bit of help. There's going to be a wide range of kids. I mean, there's about 34 kids in a class. Yes, 34 kids in a class here in Singapore, okay? So with those kinds of odds, right, that kind of student-teacher ratio, how can you not find someone who's better or worse than you are? Which means that you're going to have to level up. You're going to have to stretch yourself and help the people that need help, and then you're going to have to ask for help from the people that are a little bit smarter than you are. So I started asking her, you say you don't like competition, but I know for a fact that when you're winning, you love competition. You just don't like competition when you're losing, which is okay too. It's one of those things that you kind of have to get used to. You have to understand that this is a way to push you to become better than you are. So let's talk about sports for a second. Come over here. We're talking sports because she's finally in CCA, which is a co-curricular activity, which means it's during school hours in a PE time slot where she actually gets to learn how to play hockey. Eventually she will, I hope, stick with hockey and then play, intramural? No, whatever. Between schools. She will compete with other schools, I hope. But the point being that she can't possibly be the best of the best in hockey right now because there are kids from all different age groups in there and all different skill sets in there. And some of them, the third graders, some of them have never played a sport before and some of them have. Some of them are naturally athletic and some of them aren't. But somehow they're all on the team. So If you were the best of the best in hockey, would you get bored soon, you think?
Nah.
Nah? If you were in a room where everyone was better than you were, would you quit hockey or would you stick with it?
Stick with it.
You'd stick with it even though everyone's better than you are and you always get in trouble? Really? Are you sure about that? I think you would quit. I think that if you found yourself in a situation where every single person on the team is better than you are, you would feel like you weren't good enough and that you would probably want to quit at some point because you don't like feeling bad about things. You don't like being corrected about anything. And that's a normal part of life. I want you to understand that. It's a normal part of life. No one likes being corrected. But if we can't correct you, you will never get better. You understand? So we were talking about swimming class. At some point, you're going to want to be able to be a really great swimmer. You're going to want to come out of that baby class. Right now, you're the best in that group of, what is it, like 7 kids that are in that group right now? You're the best, right? And the teacher has you as the assistant. But at some point, you're going to want to move on to the next level. You're not going to want to blow bubbles anymore. You're not going to want to sit on the side sit on the side of the pool and have your legs out in the water and just kick like that. You're going to want to swim at some point, correct? Which means you got to go into the next group or a group higher than the one that you're in, correct?
The minute I got in the water, I really wanted to swim, but they kicked legs, and I was like,
Exactly. So at some point, you're going to get bored. If it's too easy, you will get bored. If it's too hard, you will quit. So I need you to understand competition is a good thing. Leveling up is a good thing. You should always look to see if you can get better at something.
Mama, remember the part that you said what my dream was and all that?
Yeah, I asked you what your dreams were. So she was having a little bit of an attitude problem because she wasn't happy with what I was telling her that she was going to have to come out of that baby class at some point. And I asked her, well, what are your dreams? What are your dreams? Your dreams are you want to be what?
I want to be a doctor, a farmer, and a chef.
Right.
Grow the food, cook the food, and then make medicine.
So heal the people with the food, basically, right? Okay, I get that. But in order for you to do that, that means you have to do what in school? What do you have to do first to get to that place where you can learn to be a doctor?
Graduate school.
You got to finish 3rd grade, and then you got to finish 4th grade, and then you got to finish 5th grade. Now, in 3rd grade right now, you have how many subjects? A lot, right? You probably need to do really well in science. You probably need to really learn how to listen to a teacher. You probably need to understand what it means to be corrected. Because guess what? 3rd grade onto 12th grade, how many years is that? 12 minus 3 is how much? She's counting, y'all. You got it? 9 minus 3. Let's go. Come on. You're in 3rd grade. You should know this. I gave you the answer because I keep saying the answer. The question, I'm stupid, but okay.
Wait.
It's 9. You have 9 years until the end of high school to get corrected. And then guess what? You got to go to higher learning, girl. You got to go to college. Here you got to go to JC or a polytechnic school. You got to go to a vocational school.
I also said that, what if I don't want to be that?
What if you don't want to be those things? That's fine. But whatever you do, I want you to try your best. I want you to continue to get better.
I also said, what if I don't want to be my dream?
You can change your dream. I have no problem with that. Let me talk to you about this. What were we watching yesterday? You were watching The Adventures of Gumball, right? I don't really like that cartoon, but we were watching it, right? And what happened in there? We had a mom that's poking me, sorry.
Overworking.
There was a mom who was working really hard, but allowing her children to learn by trying on their own first. And then there was another mom, which is the grandmother, who didn't let any of the kids do anything. She led the kids by making sure that they were afraid to do anything by themselves. So she scared them into just staying still and sitting in one place. And what happened to their brains?
They were blank.
They were blank. They forgot how to do everything because the grandmother did everything for them. But the mom made them think so they can figure out how to do things.
The grandma made them zombie-tized.
Yes, in a way, because she didn't let them think for themselves. She didn't want them to think for themselves. She wanted them to do exactly what she wanted them to do. So she took all of those powers away from them. She made it so that they would not do anything, and she would do the rest, which means they don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to tie their shoelaces. They don't know how to feed themselves. Nothing. Terrible, right? Now imagine if
That explains why Richard is so stupid.
Anyway, this brings me to my next question. If you don't level up, if you don't get better at something, it means you have no space to learn new things. You're still trying to conquer the first thing. What if every time you stood up to walk, I pushed you back down and said, no, it's dangerous, don't do that? Would you ever learn to walk?
Actually, I'd be in a wheelchair right now because I don't know how to walk.
You wouldn't be in a wheelchair, but you probably wouldn't walk, right? If I continually did that. If I told you can't do this because it's too dangerous, if I told you that, this is not something you should be doing, I will do it for you. If I continually do something for you, would you ever learn to do it by yourself?
No, and also, that's called overprotective mother.
It is an overprotective mother, but the point of life is to learn new things. So in school, right? Why wouldn't you want to learn new things? Why wouldn't you want to follow your curiosity? Now, I don't know where we started on this podcast and I don't know where we ended up, but the point being, right? Every level of school means you have to level up. You have to move forward. You have to get better. You have to pick up a new skill. You need to learn the next level of that something. If you're still trying to count one by one and you're in 3rd grade, do you think you're going to get to the next level very fast? If you see that your other classmates are being able to count by 2s and 3s and 4s and you're still counting by 1s, can you use that as inspiration to get better and to catch up with them? Yes, no? No, you can't? No, you want to quit instead? You want to quit, seriously? So you're telling me right now that you would quit 3rd grade because you can't count by 2s and 3s and 4s instead of wanting to learn that instead? Huh? This is what I was getting at. Why would you quit? Talk to me. Talk to me. Why would you quit? And I'm asking you this because you as a 9-year-old, you're about to be 9, right? You as a 9-year-old are doing the same things and making the same assumptions as some adults are doing as well. Oh, it's too hard. I just want to quit. Oh my gosh, you're so far ahead of me. There's no way I'd ever catch up. You already told yourself you're going to fail, and so you quit. Why? Why wouldn't you try and catch up? Why wouldn't you ask for help?
What if we don't want to?
You don't want to get better? You want to stay in 3rd grade for the rest of your life then?
No, what I want to do is stay home.
You want to stay home and do what?
Be homeschooled.
Homeschooled, but that means I got to push you. So is it easier for you to learn when there's no one else around to watch you, or is it easier for you to learn in a group?
No one to watch you.
Are you serious? Why?
Because when there's no one there to watch you, then you only have to focus on one person, not the whole class.
Hold on, but there's a flip side to that. I've done homeschooling with you before, haven't I?
Yeah.
And you yell at me because you feel like I'm picking on you. But what do you notice in a classroom?
In a way, you are picking on me.
I'm not picking on you. If you did something wrong, I got to tell you. Otherwise, you won't change. You won't get better. Let's take those place values today, right? You had to write down which number was in which place value. We were looking at thousands, correct? And you messed up a couple. If I didn't tell you that, how would you know that it's wrong in the next time and get it right the next time?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't. So here's the thing. When I homeschool you, it's just you and me. That's fine. And we end up fighting because you think I'm picking on you, but I'm not. Because there's no one else to compare you with. There's no one else to show you that, okay, this is the way it can be done. When you have a class of 34 other kids, right? You can see some of them get it right, some of them get it wrong. So it's not a big deal if you get it wrong. Listen. It's not a big deal if you get it wrong. Some people get it right. There is a way that you can make sure you never get it wrong. There is a process.
Also,
What?
if you compare me to another person, how will you know if I become better the next day and you don't?
Me? Why would I need to get better if I'm the one teaching?
I mean, like, what happens if I get better the next day and you don't compare me to other students, though?
Do you want to be compared to someone the rest of your life?
No.
Look, the reason I even use that word is because if you're in a group, you won't feel so left out. If you're in a group, there is a bell curve. The vast majority will get certain questions wrong. Some of them will always get it right. Some of them will never get it right. And it's okay. In a group, there's not supposed to be so much pressure. When it's one-on-one, it's a lot of pressure because you have to measure up to the teacher's expectations. In a group, you get to measure up to the majority's expectations or the majority's skill level. And then the teacher has to do the rest of the work. The point being is, you know what? If you want to level up, if you want to get through this grade, you got to do the work. You got to be okay with messing up sometimes. You got to be okay with having to move into like a higher class, and sometimes you have to leave some of those kids behind. It's not that you're leaving them behind forever. It just means that right now you got to do what's best for you.
But then I want to see them.
You will see them, Gayatri. It's not like you'll never see them again. You will see them. It just won't be in that particular class. Does that make sense? You'll see them on the bus to the swimming class. You'll see them on the bus from the swimming class. You'll see them back when you have lunch. But in the swimming class, you'll be in one group and they'll be in another. And that's perfectly normal. That's okay. Why would you keep yourself simple? Why would you keep yourself from learning new things just because you want to be around certain people? And this is a legitimate question because I have a lot of adults that ask the same thing. They won't admit this to me. They won't say it out loud. But guess what? They're not ready to leave those people behind because they're so comfortable with them, because they feel good around them.
That's exactly what I feel too.
And I get that. I understand it. But how does that help you grow as a person? If you are the smartest person in your group, if you are the fastest person in your group, how does that make you faster? There's no one to compete with. There's no one to push you to be stronger, better, smarter, any of those things. If you're already at the top, aren't you limiting yourself? No, you're not? So this is all that you can be now. So you're going to be like this the rest of your life. Is that what you're telling me? Your body will continue growing. You know that, right? Your mind is not going to grow anymore? No? No one?
I do want to.
You want but what? What happens after the but? I do want but?
But I want to be my friends too.
You can have both. But there is a
How?
time and a place for everything. Listen, there's a time and a place for everything. Do you see them in the playground?
Not much.
When you go down the playground, do you see them in the playground? No? You don't see them in the playground? You go down to the playground, there's no one there?
Not no one.
You're giving me silly answers at the moment because you know exactly what the answers are. When you go to the playground, do you see the same kids?
Yes.
Yes. When you're playing in the playground, are you talking about schoolwork?
No.
No. When you're playing in the playground, do you just get to enjoy each other?
Yeah.
Yes. So in class, when it's time to learn, why wouldn't you push yourself to be the best that you can be? Why wouldn't you?
Because if I do, I'll become the best in the class and then I'll have to go in another one.
And that's not a bad thing. What's the worst that could happen if you go into another one?
Lose my friends.
You will not lose, listen, you will not lose anyone. Unless you're mean to them. You won't lose anyone. But you will move into a different class. Okay, let's say you lose people. What if you gained more people? What if you made more friends? Is that a bad thing? Yeah, we should probably not do that, huh? New friends, new people, scary. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? You're being silly. Because you're smiling and I can see your dimples from here. You know you love making friends, don't you? You love making new friends. So what if by moving into a different class, you kept your old friends and made some new friends? Wow, what would that look like? More and more friends?
Cool.
Cool, right? Then it's not so bad, right? So what are you actually afraid of? Something that could actually happen or something that's in your imagination right now that probably won't happen?
Probably won't happen.
Yeah, I know. You're fussing just to fuss, aren't you? Mm-hmm. So bottom line, leveling up can be scary. But who are you hurting if you keep yourself stuck at a specific space because you're comfortable? Why are you limiting yourself? There's plenty of people in the world that tell you you can't do something. There are plenty of people in the world that say, oh, that's impossible, even though you're doing it right in their face. Just because they want you to stop because you're making them look bad. So why would you ever tell yourself you can't and keep yourself in one place? In a place where you're comfortable just because you're afraid to grow. And you heard it from my baby girl. She's only 8, turning 9 this year, and she already told you all the excuses you probably told yourself. Oh, but what if I have to leave people behind? Yeah, but I'm not ready to leave them behind. But who says you have to leave them behind? There is a time and a place for everything. When you need to learn and you need to level up, you do what you need to do. When it's time to leave one job and get to another one because you've mastered everything there is to possibly master in that position, you don't freak out. You don't think about all the people you'd leave behind. You got to do what's good for you at that point. Usually it's because you can't take the work environment anymore and you have no choice. But this is what happens when the universe kind of agitates you because it knows you're stuck and it needs you to move forward. So don't use these primary level excuses to keep yourself stuck where you are because you're comfortable and you know what to expect. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of adventure. There's nothing wrong with making new friends and learning new skill sets. Nothing wrong at all, because once you learn those things, no one can ever take them away from you.
Yes.
All right, you guys. I love you. I will catch you again later because I got to go back to doing homework with this girl. Y'all, take care. Bye.